Tandem Nomads, episode 207. You cannot control if a client will buy from you or not, but there are a few things that you can control to set the scene and create the best possible environment for a client to want to buy from you. Hello, Nomad Nation. Welcome to Tandem Nomads, the podcast show and entrepreneurship platform where you can find great inspiration and guidance to grow a successful, portable business and thrive in your global nomadic life. This is your host, Emel Teregi. I'm a business and marketing coach and the founder of Tandem Nomads. This episode is the part 3 of this 3-part series, the final step to be able to attract your clients and grow revenue through a successful portable business. In fact, in the previous solo episodes, I have shared with you my 3C system to grow a successful portable business. The first one being clarity. Having clarity around the important pillars of your business is key for you to be able to really know how you will be able to attract your clients and generate revenue. The second C is consistency. Without consistency, you will not be able to grow your audience, to grow your pool of prospects in your mailing list, all those elements that will help you continuously get the attention of your potential clients. And then now we will talk about the third part, which is conversion. How do you turn all those efforts that you've been putting in place to implement a great strategy, how to turn all of that into revenue, how to make sure that all your efforts are actually paying off. So today I will share with you my tips on how you can do that through 3 key things that you can control. Before I go any further and share with you these tips, make sure to go to the show notes of this episode where, first of all, I share with you the links of the 2 previous episodes where you can start, if you want, with the order of clarity, consistency, and now conversion. Also, I have prepared for you a workbook where I guide you through exercises through each one of these 3 C's to be able to build a solid marketing strategy and also reflect on where are the areas where you're doing a great job and where are the areas where you want to maybe improve or do something differently. So check out your workbook on tandemandnomads.com/207. And when you download this workbook, you will be receiving an email from me with a link to it. Well, don't hesitate to actually respond to that email if you have any specific question or an area where you'd like to have more information or clarity. I'd love to hear from you and support you the best way I can. So now let's dive into the topic of today, which is conversion. And before I share with you the 3 areas where you can work to convert your efforts into revenue, it is important that we discuss the notion of control. In fact, I know that it can sound so scary, sometimes really uncomfortable, or even too salesy and slimy to want to sell and approach a client to sell. And that is something that has a lot to do with mindset, obviously. So there's a lot of work to do around our beliefs and our thoughts and the way we've been educated around sales and money. So this could be a whole episode. But here is where I think some shifts can happen in your head if you are struggling with selling. I truly believe that the reason why most people around the world struggle with selling is because there is this misconception that selling is about controlling others. It's about manipulating others. And from the moment you realize that you actually don't control anything about your client, you are not in control on the fact that this client buys or not from you. So just understanding that can already be a huge relief from saying you're not manipulating because your client is free to make their choices and analyze what you're saying or doing or your product if it's the right fit for them or not. So you're not in control of what your client does, and if it helps, repeat that to yourself. But you can also say that what you control is what you do to make sure that your client knows exactly what is the value of what you provide. And that is what I will help you with today, is looking at what you can control rather than what you can't control. And once you have done this job, the next step is not up to you, it's up to your client to decide whether that works for them or not. So hopefully this will help you drop the pressure and only focus on your controllables. The first thing that you can control is making your offer irresistible by describing it in a very compelling and effective way. So how do you describe an offer to make it really relevant to your target audience? So for you to do this work, you actually need to go back to the first part of this 3-part series, which is clarity. You first need to have a clarity around your target audience, their needs, their challenges, what they're looking for, what solutions they've used before, what worked, what didn't work, and what are the other options on the market? How is yours different? So these are some little things that you need to do in a first place to be able to do next what I'm going to suggest to you. However, even if you haven't done that yet, this formula can help you really understand what is sales about and what is pitching an offer about, and realizing that it's all about helping your client make their decision, helping them understand your offer and what problem it solves, rather than forcing them to buy something they might not need. So how do you explain to your clients what is your offer and how to make it compelling but also irresistible, so much it is aligned with what the client really needs? So for that, I invite you to check the graphic in the workbook of this episode, where I share with you this process that I call the A to B process. In fact, if you are looking at selling a product or a service, no matter if you do it face-to-face, through a webpage, through a brochure, or a webinar, any way that you decide to present your offer has to follow the following principle. The first step that you need to do before even you talk about your offer is validate the challenges and the pain points of your client. Make sure that you show that you know exactly what are the challenges that they're going through. And that's the situation A. So remember the A, because that's important for the next step. And if you don't know those challenges really well, know that when you have your client in front of you, make that conversation about those challenges. Get them to tell you about those challenges so that you can know if this offer is actually helping with these challenges and pain points. So start with the first part, which is A, the challenges. And then you want to show the process of how you are taking your client from A to B, B being the results and the benefits that your clients will experience after using your product or service. So you need to sit down and list out concretely what will happen after using your product or service. To give you a concrete example of what I'm talking about, I am now going to show you a little bit of the behind the scenes in my business through this workbook. I actually am presenting to you my offer, which is the Portable Business Accelerator online course. So right after the third part of this workbook, the conversion part, you will see how I am actually presenting to you this online course. The first part is starting by asking you, are you ready to build these foundations and grow a successful portable business? And right after that, I'm immediately listing all the challenges that I know online entrepreneurs have when they start their business or when they're ready to turn it into a portable business that generates real consistent revenue. A lot of entrepreneurs indeed struggle with making marketing their priority. And one of the main reasons is that putting ourselves out there can feel really, really uncomfortable. Promoting ourselves can feel very salesy and slimy, but also knowing exactly what to do and how to do it is very complicated and overwhelming, especially when we wear multiple hats as an entrepreneur and would love to simply focus on our work with our clients. Also, there are so many free resources out there that sometimes it gets really overwhelming to know where to start and what to implement. Online tools are so key to building a business model that is truly portable, but knowing which tools are the best to be able to focus on your business sometimes gets really complicated. Marketing is an area that can feel so overwhelming, especially when it's not your area of expertise and when you actually just want to focus on doing your job instead of having to be a marketer, right? Do you relate to that? So I am sharing with you all these pain points, the situation A of my online course, the Portable Business Accelerator, so you can actually see me in action, how I'm actually implementing this advice of first explaining the situation A, and then in the following page, I'm actually describing to you the results you will get after finishing this online course. So I listed, for example, here, with this program, you will learn how to get clarity on your business strategy and validate your business model. You will learn how to implement an effective and consistent marketing strategy to attract clients. You will know how to convert your effort into revenue with mindful and simple strategies. You will also learn how to build a business that is portable and allows you to travel or work from home. It will also help you demystify technology and use the right online tools for your business. But also, you will learn how to tackle the mindset locks that stop you from moving forward in your business. Thanks to the Portable Business Accelerator online course, you will not have to figure it out on your own anymore. You will be part of a community and have my step-by-step A to Z guidance on what to do, when, and how, which will help you save a ton of time and energy that you would have wasted trying to figure it out alone. Nomad Nation, I would have loved to be in front of you right now just to hear how do you resonate with that. So if you're willing, please share with me by answering to my email. Let me know, does that resonate with you? But all this information that I have put into this workbook to explain this online course are the information that I have received from many clients when I interviewed them, and when I've been working through them, I could take notes all the time of their challenges and what stops them from moving forward with their business. And once I have done that, then I looked at how to create an online course to solve this problem and provide them with these results. So check it out as an example of how you go from A to B, explaining the challenges to explaining the results. And the results that you can actually factually promise. For instance, I cannot promise that you will make X amount of money when you finish this course because there's so many variables that I don't control in the way you will use this online course and the advice. But I can promise that you will know exactly what steps to take to build the foundations of a successful portable business for the long term that will allow you to attract on a consistent base your ideal clients. Do you see where's the difference? So it's really important that you are able as well to be very clear about what is it that you can promise as a result. So once the situation A is clear, listing all the challenges and making sure that the client is validating them, or making sure that when you're writing them in a brochure that you've done a bit of a survey to check if these are really the pain points of your current clients who are using your product or service, or if you haven't had any clients yet, that this is actually the challenges that people are having. So A is the challenges, B is the results, and then you also want to explain how are you taking people from A to B, and those are the different features of your offer and explaining how it actually works. So as you can see, the offer itself is not the central piece. The central piece is the actual transition from A to B. And if you can explain that transformation from A to B in a very clear manner to your clients, then you've done most of the job. And this is the only thing you want to focus on really nailing when you are in front of a potential client. The rest, it's up to them to decide. All what you're doing is helping them evaluate if this is the right thing for them. And this is the huge mindset shift that will help you also get more comfortable with selling. When you realize that selling is actually helping your clients know if this is a product or service that they really need and that will help them solve the problem they want to address. So that is the first part of the conversion, is being very clear about how to describe your offer in a compelling and so clear about that transformation that if you have really addressed those challenges, it becomes irresistible to your client because they say, hey, this is exactly what I need. If you do that properly, you are already a long way ahead from being a great salesperson because you're not focusing on selling, but giving the facts and the information that your client needs. But here is one more thing you can do to take this process to the next level and increase your conversions of prospects to clients. And that is anticipating the objections and the questions related to your product or service. And that goes back to doing the research, right? To really understanding your target audience. So for example, if the common objection to buying is price, then it means that you need to work around the argument of explaining why is this product a value for your client and why is it worth the investment. List other objections that you might have on a regular basis. Take note of them when you are in the process of selling. For example, if people tell you it's not the right time, I need to think, I need to talk to my partner, all of these objections, you need to list them and then anticipate them in the conversation so that when the objection comes, you are prepared and you know how to respond to it. And don't be afraid to responding to these remarks or objections. You are again in the place of educating your client of the reasons why this is the right offer for them. And if a client has reached out and has expressed this objection, there is a reason. They might be looking for those arguments from you to know if this investment is actually worth it. So help them make that decision by preparing the arguments to those objections beforehand. And this, my friend, is what will take your conversions to the next level. And I have 2 more important tips for you to convert your prospects into customers and convert all your efforts into revenue. So the second one is to keep track of your numbers. That's your second controllable. Your numbers. In fact, as I said, you cannot control if people are going to buy from you, but you can control the number of leads that you attract in your business. So for that, you do want to refer to the second episode on consistency, how to consistently grow your audience and your list of potential prospects, warm prospects who decide to sign up to your mailing list to get to read and consume your content, to get to know you, and even reach out for questions about your product or service. So you do want to have a clear strategy to attract those prospects on a regular basis. For instance, creating consistent content is an amazing way for you to grow your audience. But for you to be able to know if it's working, you need to also measure how many people are signing up to your newsletter. So every single week, you should have a certain number of objective of people to sign up in your mailing list. And in the workbook on tandemnomads.com/207, I share with you a very simple formula that you can implement to know exactly how many leads you need depending on what is your financial goal. So use that formula and then implement those little baby steps that you need to get to those goals. And whatever you do in your business, my big goal to you is to focus on things you can control. What you can control is the consistency of your content and the consistency of the resources you put out there, especially the valuable content that you offer to your audience in exchange of them sharing with you their email address and signing up to your newsletter. And one of the first big number that you have to control and to moderate all the time is the size of your mailing list. Your sales growth is directly correlated to the size of your mailing list, especially if you have a portable business. So check out again that formula in the workbook where you will learn how to calculate that number. But in order to calculate that number, you need to consistently focus on keeping track of it. And that formula is definitely going also to motivate you to keep track of those numbers on a weekly basis. All right, and now this is the third and final big tip that I want to share with you about converting your prospects into customers. And this one is really near and dear to my heart because as a marketer, one of the things that passionates me most is the impact of what a business can do for people. And we are so overwhelmed sometimes with all the strategies and marketing that we tend to forget that marketing actually starts when you sell. What I mean is that very often once we make the sale and the customer has paid and has started working with you or consume your product, then we move on to the next client. But it's so important that you understand that your marketing is serving your clients. So while you provide your product or service, you need to really pay close attention to giving the best support possible to that client. Because the cheapest way for you to grow your business is by having happy customers. Customer acquisition is so much cheaper when you have referrals, when you have return customers, when you have tons of great testimonials and word of mouth. And for that to happen, you need to stay in touch and connected with your current client as much as you can. And that's something you can control as well. The effort that you put into serving your clients and making them happy. As I always say, there are 4 questions that you need to answer in marketing. The first one is, who is your ideal client? The second is, where is your ideal client? The third is, how do you convert them into clients? And this was the topic of today. But the fourth one is also, how do you keep your clients happy, satisfied, and make them bring you back more clients? And this is something that has to come intentionally from the heart, but also strategically in your business. You need to put an intentional focus on that. Also, you want to put an intentional focus on building relationship in general outside of your business. You cannot underestimate the power of really truly trying to be there for your network, your community, support each other, and be there to give value. If you are focused on sharing value, giving value, supporting your community, making the best work you can do for your clients, things will come around. If you control that part, you will see you will be able to convert all that energy and effort and love into great revenue, but also into amazing continuous impact that you're making for your clients. And that, Nomad Nation, never forget it. If you focus on the impact that you want to make for your clients, the revenue will come. I hope, Nomad Nation, that this episode has helped you understand what makes sales happen and what makes conversion happen, and what are the key things that you need to know for you to be able to grow your revenue and make more impact for you and for your clients. And once you download this workbook, don't hesitate to respond to that email and share with me your feedback. I would love to hear about what is the number one lesson that you learned today or through these 3 episodes and that you will implement as soon as possible. I want to see where you're taking actions and follow your journey as well. So let's stay in touch, and I look forward to meeting you in the next episode. Stay tuned to turn your challenges into great opportunities.